Welcome. Let's talk about avoiding the big three 1031 pitfalls, shall we? You know, many 1031 exchangers start their exchanges without knowing a few specific pitfalls which can trip them up if they aren't careful. So what are the three big pitfalls which experienced exchangers always avoid and which you can make yourself aware? Here they are. Pitfall number 1. Make sure your exchange funds are safe. This may seem trite, but it really isn't. The 1031 exchange industry is largely unregulated. In addition, you should know that when your 1031 funds are on deposit with your facilitator or intermediary, legally those funds belong to them. So you can imagine what might occur should something bad happen to your facilitator. And believe me, none of those options are good. And a caveat here, the problem isn't restricted just to small facilitation entities. Not too long ago, Land America, a large title company of which you may have heard, had to be wound down due to problems with their company-owned 1031 exchange entity, and it caused some extreme hardships for many exchangers coast to coast. Now, the reason why these issues arise from time to time is basically due to how the exchange funds are held. In other words, they weren't held in trust or through a qualified escrow account. And frankly, this is one reason why Bank of California is the fastest growing bank in the country, because they are leading the way in developing an entirely new approach to holding 1031 proceeds by utilizing qualified escrow accounts. These are accounts inside the institutional part of the bank in which you are assured that your hard-earned exchange funds can never be moved without your explicit authorization as well as that of a bank officer. And qualified escrow accounts shouldn't cost you any extra either. For instance, we include a Bank of California qualified escrow account in our standard exchange fee whenever you sell your exchange property. So bottom line, insist that your exchange funds are held in a qualified escrow account or qualified trust account. Okay, how about pitfall number 2? Start looking for replacement property absolutely as early as possible. Probably the hardest thing to do in any exchange is to identify your candidate or target property within your 45-day identification window, especially if you're looking in a hot market where there are more buyers than sellers. That's why you should be looking well before your exchange property is even closed. And pitfall number 3, here. Before you start your exchange, select a facilitator or intermediary who understands your goals as an exchanger. And then once the exchange is started, let their experience be a guide for you to streamline the entire process. I'll give you an example. Since the hardest part in any exchange is identifying, if you're having difficulty finding a suitable replacement property, speak with your facilitator. They may know of another appropriate alternative in case you cannot find the perfect one yourself. For instance, there are now institutional investments which qualify for deferred gain treatment, in which you can exchange into a larger interest in a big triple net lease property. These are investments that are sold typically by securities dealers in what are called DSTs, or Delaware Statutory Trusts. Anyway, in case you haven't been able to find the perfect property, getting a rent check every quarter sure beats having to pay the gain tax, now doesn't it? But that is one area where your facilitator should be able to help point you in the right direction. So those are the 3 big pitfalls. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us at the contact page. We'll get right back to you, and thanks for visiting.